This is Comic Burrito, a podcast. I'm Todd,
I'm Cole.
I'm Nick.
and we're talking our top quarantine books.
QT.
QT.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this one. My number one quarantine book, and these really have no order, but it's Sex Criminal.
Okay.
So it's Matt Fraction, Chip Zdarsky. The reason why this is like for sure, like every other book that I talk about could probably be replaced. I would think, except for this one, because not only is the story of this great, not only is the art great, but this book made me actually laugh way harder than any other book that I've read and probably ever. So like during quarantine, that is definitely something that I would say is fairly helpful. I had read the first trade like 2 years ago, and it was like, this is really good, but I think I read it on Comixology Unlimited. They didn't have any more, and I just was like, well, maybe I'll figure it out again. And just with Hoopla, I just burned through it. I ended up buying the 3 issues that were already out from my local comic book shop, so I could burn through what wasn't in trade. And yeah, easily number one for me. And this is, yeah, like I said, the only one that I definitely knew would be in the list.
Nice.
Awesome.
So Nick, what about you?
So my first pick is pretty easy because when I knew that I was going to have lots of time to read without a whole lot of new stuff going on, it was like probably a good time to revisit something that I've read before. So the first thing that I reread was my favorite book of Descender, and then I got the hardcovers, which are beautiful. And that is my easy pick for number one past few weeks. Reread through that, and yeah, go if you haven't read that. I don't even want to say like anything about it. Like just go.
We've talked a lot about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's
That's nothing new.
It's not new to us.
I'm glad you put it in there because it was on my short list, and
I almost didn't want to because it's so obvious for me.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's still my number one, easy number one. If I had to pick one, that'd be my pick. So that's my pick.
All right, so we're gonna do a little snaking through. We're gonna snake back and forth. So I'm gonna do 2 of mine. My first pick, in no particular order, is Nailbiter, because I was assigned to it on March 11 when we were last all together in
That's
here, right in front of this wall right here, and so it
was the week before shutdown, wasn't it?
And we had already started quarantining. Yeah. It was like 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah, because remember we got to your house and Megan had came home with like 3 things of toilet paper and was like, other people were doing it, so I thought I should do it.
Yep. She went to the grocery store because we were like, we should probably stock up. It might be a couple weeks.
That's right. I think that was the weekend, and the Monday after was the like shutter down.
Yep. So Nailbiter, it's amazing. I went 1 to 30, and now still in quarantine. I went to Nailbiter Returns. So it's been one of those books that's just been present during my quarantine, and man, I dug it. I forced myself, because we talked about this, to not just devour it like I did East of West, because I'm like, I don't know how much time I'm gonna have. I really need to like not just get rid of it because I'm really enjoying it. So I stretched it out, and I'm really glad I did. It's amazing, and now I'm like ready to reread it again already. Yeah, it's really good.
I had already read 1 and 2 before you guys even started reading it, and I have reread it since, and that's my next thing to get through, because I haven't read after the issue 12.
It's really good.
Yeah, I just got both the hardcovers, so I'm planning to maybe do another dive if I.
I'll be waiting for the omnibus. Hopefully, it'll show up. It'll be a thing that I can buy. And then, so my second pick is a comic book that I read during quarantine. I'm definitely not stalling at all. It's one of those books that has art on it, and there's text that is the
It's
words
written by people
that
and
you
drawn.
read. Yeah, there's artists. There's an artist and
Sure,
a writer
sure.
involved.
There's usually a publisher that like sends it out.
There's
distributes
usually a
it.
publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
totally. Yep.
And it is called.
It is called Something is Killing the Children.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
A little known book. I don't know if you guys have picked this up. We definitely haven't already have done our bandana giveaway that has happened maybe 2 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, you joke about it, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on this book.
Oh, I think do too. Just not us.
It's both wildly popular and like super slept on at the same time. It's this weird, like I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't get it.
This almost made mine. The reason it didn't was because it wasn't a full story, and I read a lot of like long stuff that like ended where I like felt bad. Granted, I really liked it. Like, I mean, when we're talking about it, I mean, I've read like 600 issues of comic books in quarantine, so it's like there's a lot of stuff that I've read where it's hard, and like, I mean, we're gonna continuously talk about this book, and it's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah, it's.
I didn't pick it because I pulled it, and a lot of it came out before, so I had already read it. Oh, so good.
Something's Killing Children. James Tynan, and Werther Deladrea are the artists. There we go. From Boom Studios. It's great. It's really good. I smashed through it as soon as I got it. It's great. If you haven't read it, get it.
Mm-hmm.
Easy recommendation.
Trade just came out.
Yep. So you can even trade wait if you want, but however you can get your hands on it, you'll love it.
In fact, right now, at time of recording, you can go to your local store and probably buy the first trade, which is the first 6 issues, and issue 7, which came out today.
Is it the first 6 or is it the first 5?
I think it's the first 6. Pretty sure.
I don't know.
I think it's the first 6.
It's a chunk.
Maybe. I thought I bought. Yeah.
It should be easy to grab whichever issues come after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Nick, what's your second pick?
Well,
in no particular order.
My second pick was going to be this one in no particular order, but if today I actually sent out a tweet saying that my top 2 favorite books right now are Something is Killing the Children and Philadelphia. So that is easy second pick for me. Something is Killing the Children is one that I was reading before quarantine, and this is the one that I was going to trade wait. And once everybody was locked in their house and started talking about the books that they're reading and really liking, this one kept showing up over and over and over. And finally, I broke down and bought the first 5 issues like last week or the week before, and burned through those, and then read the recent issue today, and it's great, just so great.
So we're at a first arc. The next one comes out in August, but 1 through 6 is available right now. It's the first story arc. Excellent.
Yeah.
So good.
The only thing is, it seems like from what I've noticed, the issues in at least the A covers of first print are starting to become harder to find. So if you think you want the issues, I would say go for them quickly.
Yeah, at this point, if you want first prints, you're probably too late unless you're willing to pay a little bit.
You're on eBay probably.
Yeah. If you just want the story, they should be easy enough to find, and I wouldn't even bother trade waiting. I would just go buy them, or at least get the trade when it comes out soon. But if money's an issue, I would go buy whatever you can get of this book right now. Mm-hmm. That's easy pick.
Easy choices. All right, so Something is Killing the Children, 2. Philadelphia. Followed up, Cole. That's a lot of firepower coming your way.
I'm going with Chew. This is an old one, and like it's a book I read. Once again, another book I read that first. I got Comics Unlimited or Comixology Unlimited. I read that first issue, and I was like, I really like this. And then we were kind of talking about stuff, and I was like, anyone read Chew? And Nick was like, I read a little bit. It was pretty okay. So I just started
I
going.
liked it. I read the first trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's John Layman and Rob. I think it's Gullery, which I might be wrong on that. But it was one of those books where like I read it and like similar to what you were saying with Nailbiter, I was doing I'd read a trade, then read a bunch of other different stuff, then check out another trade on Hoopla and read the next one because I was like, there's 60 issues of this with some weird tie-ins. So I was like kind of trying to slow weight it. So I think it took me almost 2 months to read the entire like run of Chew, but it was one of those things where I was like, well, I mean, it was worth it because I kind of waited to like see the ending of it. And now the best part about it is that they're going to come out with another book called Chew CHU, which I can read at that point too. So
more Chew. There's a lot of Chew. Isn't there like 12? Is there 12 trades?
Yeah, there's 60 issues, I think. 12 trades.
It's a lot. That's why I've only read the first like arc, because I read that and I was like, this is good. How much of this is there? And I went, oh.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing is too, I mean, that was it.
Hold on.
We had 10 credits on Hoopla, so it's just like, welp, I'm 2 days where it's at. I might as well just check out the rest of Chew, and I'll read it within 21 days.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was like like one of the earlier Image like big books, I think, when Image started changing to like not be Spawn and Wildcats or Youngblood or whatever they were doing before that. So I really like it. I mean, I've got a decent amount of them in singles, but I went from there. So now that we're snaking back, I'm going to go to a Black Mass book now. We Can Never Go Home.
I can too. I'm home right now. How dare
Yeah,
you?
I know. We all are home. And so it's Hood, Kinlan, and Rosenberg. And this was, I mean, we kind of all dealt with a lot of the stuff going on through quarantine. I'm not going to really ruin anything, but Black Mass was pretty sweet when they were like, we're going to send 50% of whatever you pay to your comic book store. And also, you only need to buy $10 worth of stuff for us to get free shipping. So I went on there, I grabbed a few of the trades. I love this book. I mean, we've talked about like the first issue, but it's kind of this like slice of life superhero-y type book that has nothing to do with like continuity of things, but
well, I remember when you got it, you said that it wasn't what you expected it to be, but you still really liked it.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know. I just saw a dude with a gun on the cover and assumed it was
right. I remember when you picked it up because I hadn't ordered it yet, but it was on my list to buy.
And you already knew that it
I
involved
read what it was
superpowers,
about,
yeah.
and you were like, holy crap, I got this book, and it was nothing what I thought it was going to be, and then I got worried. But then it turned out that you just didn't know what it was about.
Yeah, I don't. I only buy books based on covers.
Yeah.
What?
I'm glad you picked that one because it's like I have since had it come in, and I'm really excited to read that one.
So we're swinging it back down to Nick. What are you picking for your third?
Oh, third, I'm going to go with a pick similar to yours. That was one that isn't necessarily new. And I don't have like a thing to hold up because I read it digitally. I'm going to go with DC's Injustice. I read through year 1 through 5, and I think I'm like halfway through Ground Zero. So just like the issues read super fast and they're super crazy. And it's just, it's Elseworld and just it's your favorite mashups of DC and everyone you love dies. And
yes, they do.
Yeah, it's just a really fun read, and it's one of those that I'm sure most people have probably already read it, but if you haven't for whatever reason, just check it out. It's fun. It's great for like if you're bogged down, you've done a bunch of reading, or you're just had a long day or something, and you just need something that is just a quick go through. It's the perfect like laying in bed. And
you can read all of them horizontally. which is like my favorite thing. I never realized how much I loved digitally reading when it was just a single orientation. So
I'm like 4 issues into year 1, second season, and I didn't know that was a thing. Even though, like, as I'm reading it standing up, I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. And now that you're like saying this, I'm like, kind of wish I would have just turned that around.
I read through most of it in portrait.
It's all horizontal. It's all landscape. The entire book is landscape.
I mean, this is loosely with no claymation, like celebrity death match with your favorite DC character.
Yes, it is.
I will say, my only complaint on the book
because
I
can do this, and just
not
go like this.
Not always, but more often than I like, the art is on the weak side for sure.
That's its biggest flaw for sure.
The presentation of the book, as far as framing, is excellent, but the art itself is often lacking. Sometimes it's fantastic, but very often it's kind of, so if that's a hang up for you, then maybe you won't enjoy it very often. But if you can get past that, it's just great. Absolutely.
It's just inconsistent. The artists change a lot.
Yeah.
And
it's got times where it's just like wonky eyes,
and you just know that they're doing it quickly because it's not like it's not a flagship book by any means.
No, it's like Mortal Kombat is like paying for this. Like it's very obscure, I think. But it's the like free comic that comes in your bag of cereal.
It's really well written.
Really good.
It's really weird. I would say, like, as you're saying that, is like some of the best panels that I've seen in that book are followed by the worst panels that I've seen in that book. And that's what's like super confusing to me, because I don't even know if it's like the artist. I think it's just like, hey, give us one blockbuster pose and then just put the rest out.
I think it's you have a week to do this, make it happen. So they take like 6 panels that they really care about, and then the rest they have to be quick about, because this was original like digital first type thing. Yeah. Where like it was once a week, a little like one of these was coming out at the time. So they were churning through them. I've actually finished Injustice and Injustice 2 and all of that. I've leapfrogged Nick since he got me into it.
I think I started reading it first.
You did. You for sure did.
It's great. If you have DC Universe and you need to rack up points, oh man. Just go start reading Injustice. You will max out your points within like an hour. You're just smash through it. There you go.
So my number 3, in no particular order, is from TKO Studios. I love it. It's not what I ever expected to love. Of literally my whole TKO order, I thought it, honestly, if you would have given me synopsis and just everything, I would have been like, this will be my least favorite. I will still buy it because they were doing the 50% towards local and I really wanted to check them out.
Have you said this before? Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah. We got on a little bit earlier than Nick got on. And when I go, Todd, did you pick a TKO book? And he's like, yep. I was like, all right. It's off the table for me because I know which one you're picking.
I love it. The art and the story is amazing. I have like 2 of the most minor problems with this that would never, ever, ever keep me from loving this thing. I am shocked that it doesn't have more hype. I think it's literally because people hear Nazi-occupied Russia, World War II, and go, that's going to be boring. And then they're just cool on it from the get-go. It's some of the crispest art that you'll see. It's fantastic storytelling. It leaves me wanting more, yet it's not going to be a thing because it's just TKO style. They got their blocks of things that they do, but I adore it. If you look at it and go, that's not for me, I get it, but I highly recommend it because I really didn't think it was gonna be. It rounded out my like, I need to get all of it. I was so close to just having all the TKO stuff. So I'm just like, if I just leave this out, I'll feel terrible. And it's my favorite one that I read. It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's dumb good. It has no right to be as good as it is. And
And
this is over Sentient. And
Yeah.
I want that to be clear that that's a big fucking deal because Sentient is awesome. Sentient is great.
if I were to rank them, I would probably say I enjoyed Sentient more. But if I were to say there's one book you should read, it's Sarah, because like as an overall product, it is the best. Like, I mean, unless you just hate everything war and you never want to read about war,
I
and
really
even
don't.
then,
I really don't.
even
That's
then
not my
you might
thing.
still worth. I mean, I think it's Grant Ennis, right?
Mhm.
He is like the quintessential best war writer, I think. Like when you give him Punisher in a war, like that's the guy that should write it. And I mean, yeah,
It's
that book.
It's Garth Ennis and Steve Epting is the artist.
Yeah, and those dudes, I think, do a lot of stuff together.
So-
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm going to track down more of that because if they are a combo somewhere, that art in that story, amazing.
I think they write Punisher.
I'm not as interested. So you like Sentient, Nick?
I like Sentient, but I only didn't pick it because.
I hear
Although, do you want
well,
to?
I hear it's
Do you
up
have
for
an
an
honorable
Eisner.
mention to do?
No, I have a fourth to do,
Yeah,
You have
and
a
then
fourth
it's going
do,
to
too.
you.
yeah.
So
Right.
my other one. This is a tough choice. I don't think either of you have read this. It's from Black Mask Studio. Featuring Ghostface Killa.
I have the first two issues.
12 Reasons to Die. Whoo! That's a read.
And it's
awesome.
Matthew Rosenberg too,
Uh-huh.
who wrote the same Black Mass book I said.
It's so good and it's so much better than yours. That's not true. They're both amazing. They're really great.
When I said it, I saw you go, "Oh, like I might have to change my book."
I didn't, but I it was more of a like an I almost picked, like that was like right there with me. But 12 Reasons to Die, I also think right now in terms of what we're all going through and experiencing and how the world, especially in the U.S., is evolving and changing in such a positive way, but also through very like it's not an easy time dealing with it. 12 Reasons to Die is also just very poignant for where we are. I love it. Ghostface Killa, I don't know what he did on it, but man, it's fantastic.
created by it says.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he also
I mean, he also calls himself Tony Stark in the Iron Man.
yeah.
So I mean, a lot of those dudes are into comic books, which is tight.
Yeah, so I can't recommend it more. I have a really hard time explaining it. There is a
Because it's ass kicking, gore splattering, damn intriguing.
sure that's not
I
at all what
looked-
the plot's going, but
I flipped
That is
through it.
ain't cool news.
there's
Are they like 20 style gangsters, right?
it is a mafia /
You want-
semi supernatural story.
I
You
have
want
the
the
first
synopsis?
issues.
I think I did it. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It's mafia
Yeah.
with some supernatural going on. And if
Yeah.
that plus Ghostface Killa doesn't do it for you, I don't know how to sell you anything because
He's a wrecking ball.
yes. So yeah, that would be my 4. Nick, we need your 4th, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at 3 books right now.
Well, we only need
And
one of them.
Saddle up.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go with.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Yeah.
I really thought about putting that in mine, but it's like,
Why didn't you tell me about this book, Todd?
And hey, I'm Todd.
Why didn't you ever say this was good?
Oh my god.
I
Todd
think
has
he.
mentioned like so many times, like just in casual passing, like, "Hey, you know what's good is American Jesus."
Hey,
And
you
it's
know what
been-
really
I've
got me?
just been like, yeah.
You know what
okay.
really got me into like independent comics even more? Like really solidified it? American Jesus.
Yeah, and I think that's in like the same realm of Chew, where these books. I mean, granted, that's 3 issues as opposed to 60, but they came out around the same time. I think, like
2009.
2008.
It
Oh,
is,
okay.
but
For a
I
G.
read both these 3 and volume 2, which is another 3. So it's a 6 issue, and I think they're a little bit longer than normal.
I can't believe
This
you didn't have
this
to wait.
says
You
it
didn't have
says
to
it's
wait
90
10 years.
it
Yeah,
says it's
93.
I know, but with the cliffhanger that you had to deal with, I'm so glad I did.
Dude, it hurt. It hurt so bad. Because you know what? For about 9 3/4 of those, I didn't think I was ever going to get a sequel.
I can't
Right.
wait to off-air talk about 2.
It's so
We can't
insane.
talk about it, but yeah.
No, yeah, but that's my fourth. That's my fourth pick. It's reluctant only because I have like 2 or 3 or 4 other books laying on the ground right now that are so good. But this is one that I read it and I instantly was like, because this is Hoopla right now. That's how I read it, and I instantly was like, is there a hardcover special edition? Like, like what's the most expensive version of this book I can buy?
I don't think there's a hardcover special edition.
I don't think there is.
It wasn't a very big book. That's the problem.
I don't even know if there's a soft cover version.
Yes,
I mean,
is.
there has to be.
I own it.
That you could like buy right now.
Oh, I bought it about 10 years ago.
So good.
It's oh my
It's
god,
so
it's
good.
so good. Careful with those. I can see your screen pretty
Yeah.
easily. Careful.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so am I going to finish this off?
All right, last one, Cole. Number 4.
Finish it off, Cole.
Your least favorite or most favorite, because that's how rankings go, right?
I mean, they're all indifferent. This was one of the ones that I had like. I put 2 books here, and it depended on how you guys picked your books, and the specification to like not pick this book, you guys didn't hit, but I'm still picking it because I have to talk about it. And it's Once and Future.
Hey, nice.
So
Cool.
this is Kieran Gillen, I think that's how you say his name, and Dan Mora.
Gailan.
This was just one of those books where I read the first issue.
Guillaume.
I was like dead tired. I read the first issue and I was like, I have to finish this, and I just passed out. But before I was like, I can't read anymore. I set my alarm to 6:30 so that I'd wake up early to just make a pot of coffee, read the rest of it, because that first issue like hooked me so much. Like it. I really considered putting this as like in something different. It's like one of my favorite number 1s that I've read through quarantine, but like this story plus the art, this is like the total package book, and it's so good that this was supposed to be a standalone book, and now it isn't. It's an actual like weekly book.
Weekly? That's expensive.
Oh, I'm not sorry, monthly or whatever.
Oh,
but like,
say,
it is
like,
a continuous book.
I didn't know that. I need to maybe trade weight this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna omnibus weight that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
call my guy real quick because whoops.
That trade was supposed to be it, and it was
Woo!
so good.
Because the whole time you were talking, it was like, might have to look at this.
And even though they might not be waiting it, like Nat, one of our viewers that comes onto our live stream, she actually recommended this. So like once comic stores started opening up again, I was just like, you guys got the first trade of that? And they're like, yep. I was like, put it in my thing, I'll read it. And it's like, it's that good. And I mean, Dan Morris.
As we all know, Cole listens to Nat before he'll listen to me.
Yes.
Well, what book have I not read?
And everyone should.
I agree. I think it's smart.
It's really good advice.
It is good advice.
If you're giving me a 6-book, like a 6-issue book, as opposed to a 150-issue book, I'm definitely gonna bite on that 6-issue book first.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's fair. But yeah, no, Once in Future is fantastic. It's so good.
I haven't read it, but it is now on the radar.
So
how has it not been on the radar? See, this is when you're like,
I've
why didn't you tell me enough about it? We've talked about it like 3 times.
No, I know you have, but I've never heard of it.
It's so good. Fantastic choice. That's a very good number 4. So we're gonna have 2 honorable mentions apiece. We're not gonna go into as much depth, and yeah, I think we should just shotgun them. So let's go.
Okay.
Mine, I reread all of Saga. That Saga right there. You don't have to talk about that.
What is that?
That's an amazing book.
Sega?
Yeah, Sega?
Just read it.
Sega?
What's that about?
The second one I'm going to put up there is Samurai Grandpa. And this was the book where I was like, if no one talks about a Source Point Press book, I'll mention this. But it was also like, I also really like Once and Future. So it's hard. But this is, I think, Easton Daverna and Sean Daly. And I mean, I'm just going to show you. If you don't think the art of this is good, I own this. And this is the artist's work. Like,
he just wanted to show off his commission.
Yeah, it's
that
great.
book was definitely in my top 10 while shaving things down. It's a great book.
I thought you were going to say it's a top 10 book while shaving.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's a top 5 book while I'm shaving.
Yeah. I'm also the rebel, so one thing I wanted to say is that the reason I picked Chew is because there were so many good spin-offs, so also I'm going to say Farmland. Sorry, I picked 3. Nick, what do you...
Farmland?
Farmhand.
There it is.
Farmhand. Not even saying it right. But you know.
He's cheating
Everyone
and doing it. Yeah.
There's like 10 people in the world right now that are like, Farmland?
I'm going to check that out.
I remember that on the Facebook.
Yeah. Oh,
Can I get some potatoes?
Yeah.
It's
Farmville. That's funny. I was like, what?
Right.
Farmville. All right, Nick. 2 honorable mentions.
2 honorable mentions, not 3.
Not 3.
Yeah. Because
that's how numbers.
Because I didn't hold this book up for a while, so that would not be a 3rd honorable mention.
No.
So
definitely, obviously not.
That never happened.
No.
I definitely held this book up the whole time.
Yes.
This was the book I was holding up the whole time.
Yeah.
The Fearsome Dr. Fang from TKO.
Awesome.
I, in all fairness, I know you guys both love Sarah. I have it. I haven't read it yet, so I can't put it in there. I know I'll read it very soon. But I read all of their number 1s, which you can do free on their website. And the very first book that I put in my cart was Fearsome Dr. Fang. And when I read the whole book, it did not disappoint. The next honorable mention, which is also a yellow theme, is going to be Superman Smashes the Klan. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's presented in the, maybe, what do you call it, Cole? The young adult readers?
Yeah, it's the same as like a Dear Justice League. I think there's some Harley Quinn ones. Yeah, it's a YA.
Yeah, there it is. Young adults.
Yeah.
I still haven't read it.
DC has a whole line of those right now going.
It is.
They have like a Raven book, I think. They have a Harley book.
Yeah. They have a Batmobile.
Overdrive.
Yeah, Overdrive.
Yep. Young adults definitely should read this book, and adults definitely should read this book.
I would say it's primarily topical right now.
Oh, sure, absolutely it is.
Yep.
And it's based. There's a lot of info in the back based on personal stuff from the author and from history, and it's more than just a little thing. It's $17. And it's one of my favorite Superman books I've ever read.
The guy that wrote that is, I think, Chinese American, and he was saying he didn't want to write that, but Jim Lee called him and told him that he wanted him to write this book.
Ooh.
So he did it.
What do you do with that?
Yeah, exactly. Like just if you look at the DC Daily, there's a Bendis and the writer of that.
Yes, sir,
Mr.
Lee.
Forget his name.
I'm literally writing it right now.
Yeah.
Well,
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Because if you're told that you should do that by somebody so prolific, you're gonna make it happen.
And I think that's, and I could be wrong too, but I think it's a story that was already written that they rewrote different. Like
that's from back in the day. That was already a thing that happened.
It's inspired by 1940s Superman radio serial.
Yep.
Clan of the Fiery Cross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's based on actual events during.
I think that was a radio
of
show.
All that crap.
Yeah, it was Superman Radio. Fun fact about the Superman Radio show. Do you know why kryptonite exists? During the Superman Radio show, they had to come up with something so that he could take a vacation. So they invented kryptonite so the guy who voices Superman on the radio show could take a vacation.
Ooh. What are your runners up, Bub?
That's the end of my knowledge of the Superman radio show.
That is now a thing that we all know.
Yep. You're welcome, everybody.
That we may or may not have known before. I did not.
Someone might have. All right, so this is one honorable mention
sure
is one that we reviewed, and I fucking adore it.
Also top 10.
Oh my god.
This
so
is on my short list too.
Go back to our review if you want to hear us talk about it. Invasion from Planet WrestleTopia. It's amazing. And
maybe a bubble will show up.
Yeah, maybe, probably not. But it'll be in the description, maybe, probably not. But you can just go to our channel because you're already here and go to reviews and check out Invasion from Planet WrestleTopia. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because Manifest Destiny. Because we have a whole review about it, but my goodness.
Is good.
I almost put that in my 4 because I love that book.
It was in my list to potentially go into my 4, and it was a hard decision to not include it.
Hashtag not
as someone who's not a fan of big time wrestling, what do you call it?
Pro wrestling. Big time wrestling's fine. That's a very
big
like
time
my
seems
mom.
more realistic.
My mom says big time wrestling.
Okay,
Nick is also your mother, so it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, as not a fan of that pop culture thing, I very much enjoyed that book. So, very good.
Cool. And then, what was that book that you were holding up?
The first one?
You know, that one that definitely isn't in your runner-ups.
Oh, this one that definitely was not an honorable mention. It's not up for an Eisner or anything.
No, not at all.
No.
That's my other runner-up because it's so good.
It should be in all our top 4s.
I think Sarah's better, and that's just me.
I would agree.
That's
I think
fine.
Sarah's better.
Should be like
but
number
this
2.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I really want him to expand on that world very badly.
Yeah.
I would assume by its nomination that he's not.
I would assume by his nomination that maybe it could happen now. Because
Well,
I don't think that it was going to before.
But it was a limited series, though, right? Isn't that where it's at?
Yeah, so he'll get the Eisner and then be like, "Oh, I can make more money off of it."
Yeah. I'll buy all of them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my other runner-up, which we don't need to get into. 2 that we don't need to get too deep into because we have a video and we already talked about Sentient. Stop making me put things up that's not gonna be there. It just makes me look bad.
No, I literally just pointed to Bane for no apparent reason.
Ant-Man.
Moon Knight.
Yeah. Yellow Scarecrow.
So
Wonder Woman.
I'm just kind of sad no one talked about a Tom King book.
All right, so thanks for joining us. I'm Todd.
I didn't even have a Tom King book in my top 10.
I'm Todd.
I'm Cole.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
So maybe I just don't like Superman. Oh, he saved the little girl. Woo.